When you apply for these scholarships, it's like gambling. It's like you're betting, but you give it your all. And you get the confidence that I'm giving it my all. I just hope for the best. Yeah, because you don't know who is going to handle your documents.
Okay.
You just upload them in a website and they go to various responsible authorities.
Now then, walk us how you got Hungary Stipendium scholarships. How did you get to know it and the application? Walk us through the process.
So I reached out to some professor. I think, she's in Karatina right now. She's called Professor Penina Lu, and he referred me to a certain fellow. This fellow had studied in China. This guy had gone through the government scholarship. You know, there are types of scholarship that comes only through the government.
Were you ever rejected in this process?
Yes. The first attempt I was rejected. Commonwealth scholarship rejected me. East African scholarship rejected me. Pan-African scholarship rejected me. Slovakian scholarship rejected me. In fact, the more rejections I got, the more passionate I became about this.
Let's talk about application to the United States.
To me, applying to the States was way easier than getting the Stipendium American Scholarship or those scholarships through the Ministry of Education.
So, do you think applying to many scholarships helps you?
Yes.
How?
The process is the same.
There's somebody who's maybe watching and he has done one and he missed it. What can you tell this person?
Do up to 10.
Then from 10 we start talking.
Now we start talking.
Before we dive into this episode, I want to share a commitment I made to you, my viewers. Each day I strive to fulfill this promise to create high quality content that not only enriches your lives, but also transforms mine. So I kindly ask one favor to support me by hitting that subscribe button. It truly means the world to me. Today's episode features one of the most honest conversations I've ever had. Sometimes I find myself reflecting on where such conversations and discussions were when I was seeking these opportunities. Our guest, Tiberius Okanga, has traversed continents, studying in Africa, Europe, and currently in the United States. Let's hear his journey and the invaluable insights he'll share for those seeking opportunities. Tiberius, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I'm a traveled man.
Oh, okay. You've moved to very many countries. Like you've studied in Kenya, you've studied in Hungary, and right now you are studying here in the United States.
That's true.
Why are you chasing education in all these countries, and what is your motivation?
I think it's just my path, and the opportunities present themselves. So. That's
So that is what is making
that's what is making me to be here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you've traveled in all these countries and you've had an experience, and today you are promising somebody who has clicked into this video that they are going to move out of this conversation with various kind of education systems in various countries, and you are going to share how you made it through all these countries. All right, so let's talk about your education in Kenya. You did your undergraduate in Kenya. So how was your undergraduate, and how did you feel? How was it, and how did you feel that it helped you in getting some of these opportunities that you got to go to these countries?
Sure, I think I am one person who has got the opportunity to explore the various types of, the three systems of educations. I tested the Kenyan system, which is my foundation. Then I have tested the European system where I did my master's, and currently now I'm here in the American system where I'm doing my PhD. About my undergrad, I joined JKUAT, and I was studying industrial chemistry. That's more about chemistry. So I was in the department of chemistry in Corpus. We call it Corpus in JKUAT.
Okay.
Yeah. So to shorten the story is that I got the best grade.
Yeah.
I was one of the top students in our class when we were graduating. So that opportunity, I thank God for that. I did my best. I got good grades. Then after that, I didn't think really of going to school after my graduation. What happened now, I was into business, the hustle type of Nairobi.
Okay.
You finish your degree, you don't know what is next. So I was lucky to have some small business which was paying me good actually, because I was able to feed myself and anybody around me that time. So, but then COVID came because I was in photography business. When COVID came, now there was events. All events were closed. There's no parties. There's no weddings. There's nothing. So, and then now I went broke. And I had to think out big. Like, I mean, it's possible the world can come to a standstill. What do you do next? So that's when I remembered I had a first class in industrial chemistry from JKUAT. Then I now started thinking of application of scholarships, because I was like, okay, I'm not from a rich family where they'll be able to pay for my master's if I say I want to go to school. I think once I go to campus, it's now my own decision to continue and further my studies. So that was the motivation. From getting help, now I should get real fundings to do my academics. So I was like, how do I get these scholarships and study abroad? At that time, I didn't think of American scholarships because ideally the American system, the American scholarships, they are not very common to us in Kenya. Yeah, so most people are not aware of the types of the scholarship about American system. So I had a friend who referred me and told me to visit the Ministry of Education's website and see the scholarships which are available. I tell you for sure, everything I needed was in that website.
Okay, so before you go to those scholarships, there is this part in that some of us like me, I did not graduate on top of the class, and I did not get the first class, and my grades were not that good as some of your grades that I have seen. So what do you think, there are those people who are right now in universities, do you think that if they chase that excellence in the university will pay off or will help them in applying to these opportunities?
Definitely yes. So in Kenya, if you are doing your degree now and you by any chance you work hard and get a second upper, it will pay off. It will take you anywhere you want to go. You will get most of the scholarships. They have that cutoff point at second class upper. Yeah, so
So you are telling these people that to chase excellence.
Yes, chase excellence.
Make sure that you doing your best and getting the best grades that you can.
That's it. We take it for granted because most people are like, just do it because I'm doing the degree, blah, blah, blah. But then one day when you really work hard for it and you get the good grades, and then some of these opportunities present themselves and you are not having much hassle, you just do the application and you find you meet the qualifications. So you're not stressed whether you're going to get it or not, but you just say, I did my best and I hope I'm going to get it. It happens. So, and when you get it, you feel, wow. So my hard work back then, I was just doing it because I was doing it, but I didn't know that the hard work will lead me to this next phase of life.
All right, so now you are done, COVID-19 has come in, or you were not intending to go into graduate studies or scholarships. You are not intending to go to graduate school or doing further studies, let's say masters and PhD. Now, COVID-19 has come in, your business has sunk down, there is no any event and you are into photography. So how did you take your mind off the business and now getting into applying to graduate school, because you had already forgotten and done away? So walk us through how you went ahead to apply to these scholarships.
Because now during COVID, everybody was sitting at home. And I asked myself, what if it continues for the next 50 years? Because I was seeing my friends who are employed, they're working from home and they're having a salary. While myself now I have no salary, I only have now a brain, so I have to think. So looking at it into details, I was seeing, actually the initial idea is that I could get these scholarships, study from home, I get the stipend when I'm in Kenya, and then do everything, and I get my online degree because everything was online then. So that was the first idea. I was looking at it in terms of getting money and studying. So the only way to get that is to get most of these fully funded scholarships. So that was my motivation. So then I started the process of looking for scholarships, but you have to consult.
Okay.
Because it's something we Kenyans don't really interact with. We are good in other sectors, knowing what to get the best clothes, knowing what to get, utensils, where to get good cars. But now when it comes to academics, we really don't have the information, which is really bad, because there are some people who, by the lack of information, they can't just do what they're supposed to do what they want.
Okay.
Yes, because they just do it in the layman's level. Yeah. They don't dig deep, but applying for scholarships, for sure, it requires a lot of patience, a lot of dedication and discipline, because one step will lead you to the other. And if you do one step wrong, it means you can't proceed.
Okay.
So that's what happens in most cases.
So now then, walk us how you got to the Hungary Stipendium Scholarship. So how did you get to know it and the application? Walk us through the process.
So yeah, there's a friend of mine. No, I reached out to some professor. I think, she's in Karatina right now. She's called Professor Penina Olu, and he referred me to a certain fellow. This fellow had studied in China. So this guy had gone through the government scholarship. There are types of scholarship that comes only through the government. They are called through the good wish of the two countries, something like that, the relationship between two countries. So Kenya is offered 50 chances, 10 chances, and then they send the students to those various countries and is fully funded. So this guy had gone through the Chinese scholarship, and he told me that the first thing to do for you to see how this is happening, all the information is posted in the Ministry of Education's website, which most of us are not aware of. Nobody will tell you if you don't ask.
I was never aware of that.
Yes, so if you visit the MOE, the Ministry of Education's websites, there's a big section under scholarships. So in case any country announces scholarships, they want students, the Ministry of Education publishes all these details in the ministry's website.
Okay.
So when I visited the website, I saw at that time there were around 6 countries. There was Slovakia, there was China, there was Hungary, there was, I think, Belgium, Korea, and Japan, if I remember so well. Others, they had some qualifications which I didn't meet, because, most of them, again, remember, you are going to non-English speaking countries.
Okay.
So there's that factor where you have to go study that country's language, so that you study in their language. That's common with most Chinese scholarships. Okay. So by the time I applied, I was like, okay, I'm just throwing my net. I don't know what is going to happen. So I applied for the Chinese. I applied for the there was also the East African scholarship, where you have just to study within the East Africa, but in a different country, the Tanzania, Uganda, or Rwanda. So when I applied for the Chinese scholarship, I was shortlisted, but was not called for the interview.
Okay.
And then I did not give up. So I applied. At the same time, I applied for this Stipendium Hungarican, that is the Hungarian scholarship, and I was shortlisted. So it's a stepwise process. Like the applications, usually they announce the applications usually in late November. The first phase of application goes all the way to January, where they have this the Hungarian scholarship, the Stipendium Hungarican. They have this system where you choose at least you choose 2 universities. Can be the same course in different universities, or different courses in different universities, but they have to be 2. Then you submit. They have a list of documents they want. First of all, for sure, if you want to apply for scholarship, the first thing, you must have a passport.
Oh, okay.
That is something we ignore. And most people get the scholarship, and that's when they run to Nyayo House to get the passport. And you can see the mess in that building, or in any passport center in Kenya. So just get the passport and let it rest. It's something that goes for 10 years. So,
so you've learned about the scholarship. Now it's time to go around looking, like trying to bring in documents, trying to get all the requirements that are needed for that scholarship. The hassle of getting documents, because like when personally I wanted to apply, I could not apply, like I was reluctant because I couldn't like do any movement or any application without documents. So walk us through like the process of gathering the documents. How did you get your letters of references and some of the documents that you used to get into this scholarship?
That's a very good question, because this government, these scholarships that come through the Ministry of Education, they have specific documents they require, because the Ministry of Education will do the evaluation on its own. So what happens is that you have the list, like you must have all your academic credentials from KCPE and the Living Certificate, which most people don't have.
Okay.
KCSE and the Living Certificate, and then the university transcripts, and then the graduation degree. And you must have a birth certificate, a national ID, and a passport for your work to be easy. So what you have to do, you must have these documents verified. This is also a hidden information that nobody knows.
What is verification?
Verification, it means your papers must be stamped. They have to be authorized. You know, when you're given the degree, or when you're given the degree, it is just the university that has given you the degree. This paper, you want to use it in other institutions. You have to take it to the authority responsible for the education in that country. So the Ministry of Education must do these verifications. They must authentify that your documents are legit. So what you have to do for the KCPE certificate and the KCSE certificates, if you want them to be verified by the Ministry of Education, you must present the living certificates. Then you submit them together. For the degree and the transcripts, all the transcripts, first of all, the university has to verify them as well, because what you are given is only having a stamp of maybe your department and the dean. So there's, in all universities, there's what is called the Quality Assurance Office, where they have to see if this degree was given or if there's a dispute or anything. So that also has to happen. I think I'll give an example in my case. JKUAT, if you go to the Quality Assurance Office or the examination office, they do that. They will stamp them at a cost, I think only at 400 or 200 per document. It's been a while.
That is Kenyan shillings?
Yes, Kenyan shillings. 400 shillings per document. Or 100, of course I did 5 and it was 500. Yeah, I think it's 100 per document. Once you have them now, you have to take the originals and the copies to Jogoo House. I think it's 6th floor also at the Quality Assurance.
What is in Jogoo House?
Where they also do the certification.
Okay.
In Jogoo House, if you go to the 6th floor, that's where you get the Quality Assurance Office. They will just check if you've submitted. It's free. Nobody should charge you for that. So
which department is that? Like
Quality Assurance.
Is it under the Ministry of Education?
Ministry of Education. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Jogoo House is the Ministry of Education.
All right.
Because there's an annex of the administration police there. So
yes.
The Ministry of Education, I think, is Jogoo House B complex. So you leave the documents there, and then you come the next day and find them stamped. Then you start now. You can start uploading them. For the non-academics like passport, ID and birth certificate, you must have what is called a lawyer's
affidavit?
Not affidavit, but they must be certified by an administrator of oaths.
Right.
Any person who is allowed to...
Commission of oaths.
Commission of oaths,
right.
Yes. So
I kindly ask one favor to support me by hitting that subscribe button. It truly means the world to me. So now you've gone ahead, you've gathered all the documents, then now you've put in your application. And I remember we had shared early that you did the first application, then you did not get it.
Yeah.
So then you came again and did it in the next year, then you got it. Talk about this moment where you are waiting for your application to be processed and then you got the feedback. So how did it go, like after putting in the application?
The first application I did not go through because I didn't know I didn't do the process the right way, just as I said.
Okay.
If you do it in the right way, according to the requirements, it will go through. That is for sure. You might not be picked or you might fail at an advanced stage, but in the first steps, the application will go through. So you said once I have submitted the papers, what happens next? You have to be patient. When you apply for these scholarships, it's like gambling.
All right.
Yes, it's like you're betting, but you give it your all. And you get the confidence that I'm giving it my all. I just hope for the best. Yeah, because you don't know who is going to handle your documents.
Okay.
You just upload them in a website and they go to the various responsible authorities. So you just have to be patient, don't even panic. I mean, just give it your all.
Okay, so after you did the applications, because some of us, like when you're applying to some scholarships or some other universities, you put in the applications, either you get admitted and that's it. So with this Hungary Come Stipendium Scholarship, you've put in the application. What are the next steps? Were you called for interviews? How many were they? How did you? Okay, so go ahead.
All right. So about this one is common with most of the government scholarships.
All right.
That comes through the Ministry of Education. So the first step is you'll have to upload the documents into the scholarship's website. And then the scholarship body will tell you that you've passed the first time. Your documents have been verified. So we forward them to the sending partner. That's what they tell you. So the sending partner now is Kenya. So you wait now for the interview. You'll be called for an interview from the Ministry of Education. That means you have to submit the hard copy
of what you submitted
online to Teleposta. That's also an annex of the Ministry of Education.
What is Teleposta?
Teleposta House.
Okay.
Yes, it's Teleposta building. It's in
Nairobi.
GPO.
All right.
Yes, just GPO up Huduma Center, in Huduma Center there.
Okay.
So once you submit them there, and that's where all the interviews are done, by the way. Then now you wait and they call you for interviews. Once they call you for interview, you pass the interview, then now you go to the next step. You wait now for the scholarships, the scholarship body to invite you for school interview. Remember, you had selected schools.
Oh, so when you are putting in the application, you select schools in
yes,
Hungary.
And courses, yes, in Hungary.
Okay.
Yes. Then now you've passed the Ministry of Education. So the next step is that now you have to do the entrance exam, which is the university interview. Okay. That's how I can call it. Once you pass the entrance exam, now you wait for the scholarship decision. If you pass the entrance exam, they'll tell you congratulations. You've passed the entrance exam, but this does not mean you secured the scholarship. That's the message that you'll get. So then after that, now you wait for the decision. It's called the scholarship decision. Then they'll decide and tell you, okay, congratulations, you've been awarded this scholarship. Now start planning your journey. In between, I was forgetting an important document, which is referees.
Okay, yeah.
You must have good referees. When you are doing your undergrad, make good rapport with your lecturers. Let the lecturers know you. Let the professors know you. So that when one day you ask for recommendations from them, they know who they are talking about. They don't ask you to do a general letter and then they just sign and send. They know what they're saying, and then if I read their recommendation, I can feel the authenticity and the truthful nature in that document. All
right, so you talked about something very important that I also talk about it in some of my videos, or I also advise applicants who are making these applications. These opportunities are there online, but people don't know that they are online. What can you tell that person who has a gadget, has a phone, has a laptop, but are not finding and have not started checking into these opportunities? Talk about the importance of having this technology and how it can make you get these scholarships.
That's true, because what you're saying is very sensitive. Someone wrote it in social media is that most of our universities in Kenya, they equipped you with the knowledge of how to type in a computer. And I don't know how to use the English word.
Okay.
They make you know the city. You know Nairobi if you studied in Nairobi. Okay. That's the most benefit. So how you are going to use that knowledge, you know how to type in a computer and you know the city very well, is up to you. So when you have just a phone, just a laptop, we use them for Netflix movies. But behind the Netflix movies, everything you want in this world, you will get it through that computer. Everything you want in this world. So if you become positive and you really want it, because it is a painful process for sure, getting these scholarships. It's a painful process. And if you're not patient enough, or you just see someone has done it and you don't ask step by step, and if you're not serious about it, you won't even pass the first step because it comes with some pain.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you ever were you ever rejected in this process?
Yes. The first attempt I was rejected. Commonwealth Scholarship rejected me. East African Scholarship rejected me. Pan-African Scholarship rejected me. Slovakian Scholarship rejected me.
So all rejections, yes. But you still went for
continue. It. In fact, the more rejections I got, the more passionate I became about this.
So you've gotten this scholarship. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. You are now to leave to go to Hungary. Mm-hmm. Talk about like your experience of leaving the country and arriving in Hungary. Mm-hmm.
So one thing about once the scholarship is awarded, it's always very important to read the scholarship terms. For instance, the Stipendium Anglicum, the scholarship terms is that they were going to pay half of the stipend, and the Ministry of Education in Kenya, or the sending partner, is supposed to pay the half. And you know, most of the scholarship will provide you with the return ticket. In this case, the Stipendium Anglicum, because our government did not follow, see it in a choma, but that's the truth. The Ministry of Education in Kenya didn't really tell us what to do. Once they give you the scholarship, it's up to you. Go study or leave. So that's also a decision you have to make. So I planned myself. I had to get funds from family, and now, because for you to receive the first funds, you must be into the system in that country. So I planned. It was a nice experience when full of anxiety, going outside the country for the first time, going to study outside Kenya, and that's the main mission. So when I left Kenya, I went to Hungary, got there, started settling down. But the main challenge, you know very well, everybody who has gone to who has lived abroad will tell you that settling abroad is a challenge. But I can tell you that settling in these non-English speaking countries is a bigger challenge. Because most people speaks English.
Oh yeah.
Apart from your professors and those you meet at school. In the outside environment, you know, here in the United States, everybody speaks English and we can easily communicate and get assistance. But in those non-English speaking countries, it was kind of challenging, but we coped up, and yes, it was a nice experience.
So the first thing you learned is their greeting.
Yes.
How do people in Hungary greet?
In Hungarians, the informal greeting, you say "Szia."
What does that mean?
Hello.
And how do I answer back?
You respond as "Szia."
Szia.
And when you are greeting a group more than a plural form, you say "Sziasztok." Hello, people. And the formal way of greeting is "Jó napot kívánok." That's when you say good morning, or "Jó napot estét," good evening. It's an interesting language. I learned it for 1 year, so
okay.
I can speak some Hungarian for sure.
All right. So you've gotten to Hungary, mm-hmm. and you've adapted. Now it's time to go to school, mm-hmm. to classes. Mm-hmm. You reach there, like something that happens is when I came here, the United States is the shock that you get. Mm-hmm. The education system, everything is different. So tell us some of the shocks that you got and how the education system was different, mm-hmm. from what you've done in your undergraduate.
Yeah, it was a big hassle settling into that new environment because the education system is completely different, and they are used to the system that you are the one who is going to study. So you should look for the information and all the paperwork required. Settling down as an international student, it takes time. You can't settle down within 1 month. Mm-hmm. You can't settle down within 2 months is okay, because now you've known your way around, you know what to do, 1, 2, 3. But there are people you'll always find there that will mentor you. They will tell you that this one, Kenyans in this matter, mm-hmm. if you ever have international friends, this one you do here, this one you do here, this one you do here. That paperwork, there's some of the paperwork you have to do that will take a longer time. And there are certain things you can't do without having full documents.
Okay.
You know, whites, they are very strict with the law, and they follow the law to the letter, and you have to work with the law. So that was the biggest challenge. When it comes to academics, you have to register classes online, you have to do everything is in the system. They just tell you that log in into this system and create your password. Whatever you are going to do after that is up to you, because the person sending you this is the registrar of the school who is handling big number of students.
Okay.
And here you think you are going the Kenyan way and ask, which courses am I taking, whatever. There's no that Kenyan system where the courses are defined. That, okay, you are in first year, you must do these courses. You are in second year, you must do these courses. You can see that is happening in the American system.
Yes.
The European system, they have that more of Kenyan system, that these are the courses you are doing. Mm-hmm. But the biggest challenge is that if you don't follow the registration timelines, you might not take that course. You know, back at home in Kenya, you can show up once or twice in a class and you call it a semester. But in the other case, you must register in advance, and the deadlines, if you don't work with the deadlines, for sure. So it helps you to adjust. As you adjust to the new environment, you have to adjust on how you do things so that you do it their way. If you do it your way, you might be so much behind and you won't be able to finish in time. And remember, this is a scholarship. You have a contract. It is timed.
So you have to finish
within the time.
Okay, so you've now gotten to the classroom. You've struggled with the registration, knowing like the same thing happened to me. I thought I was going to be given. So in the first year, you're going to do this list of courses. You are told these are the courses that you'll do in your period for 2 years. Decide when are you going to do them. So you've been there. The exams are coming. The teaching is going on in class. So the quality of this is like most people of us who are thinking to go to abroad to study. We're thinking of like going for opportunities and going for jobs. But talk of the quality of education that you get, the skills that you get, which may not have been in your home country. So talk about the quality of education and the skills that you build in Hungary.
If you go to study in Europe, just know you are going to struggle. Because you're starting school starts on day one. And you come to class on day one and the lecture gives you 100 slides in one lecture. And then because back at home, we are still used to writing notes, the professor has to explain things on the board. But now in Europe, they're giving lectures. That's the real definition, is going to lecture. It's going to tell you that this is this should be this. So you have to go find that information. So the biggest struggle is that we were having some of the missing links. Because when you come as an international student, they are not going to ask you much of what you learned.
Yeah.
They will continue with their system because you are joining their system. So most of the things, they have that building blocks. Mm-hmm. You have to do A to do B. You have to do B to do C. So you are doing D and you don't know what they did in A, B, C, D. So there's that big struggle on how you are going to relate with the previous knowledge. For example, because I now went and majored in chemistry. I was doing chemistry major for my master's. Mm-hmm. In my undergrad, I did industrial chemistry. So there was a lot of missing links. So you have to dig deep and go and see which these missing links, which is this professor talking about. So the quality is very high and I liked it.
Okay.
I like it.
So this missing link, for me, I remember like when I came in, I also had some missing link. Mm-hmm. And you are even at times forced to call your undergraduate university and tell them to send in to prove that you did that thing. And so you are forced like to do some extra courses or to register for some extra units?
No. For this case in Europe, you have just to study.
You are studying
on your own. They will not show on credits or anything, but for you to do well on the courses you are doing, you have to go study and see the missing links.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have just to go and dig deep and see that this is where we are coming from and this is where we are headed.
Talk of the life now you enjoy. I saw like when I was looking at your profile and I looked at the history, you enjoyed lots of places in Europe. Mm-hmm. So talk about the life other than the academic life, some of the things that you get to enjoy when you're in these places.
It's very nice. First of all, I'll talk about culture shock. Culture shock is being surrounded with white people, where you're the only black one. I was the only black student in my class. So that's one culture shock, but with time you get used to it. Because I joined in the fall semester, time goes very fast.
Fall, that is September.
September. Okay. Before you realize, winter is here. So you get somehow a lot of depression because we are in the tropical region back at home. We've never seen snow. We've never seen a lot of things. We've never seen sunset at 4 p.m. So when this was happening, I was like, sometimes I felt like, because you combine all these things, you have that internal struggle. I have to struggle with school. I have to struggle with adapt. Food is also different. It's the food you are not used to. You have to adapt to the new food and the environment. So for the body to adjust, most people do give up in that process because you might think you cannot do it, but it's just the body adjusting. So the sun by 4 p.m. is sunset.
Yeah.
If you delay with some few minutes, they don't argue with you. I mean, they just tell you, we are sorry.
Yeah.
We had a timeline. So you have to manage your time properly and you have to do your things very well. But the most important thing is you must have peace of mind. If you are not having peace of mind, it's difficult to settle in those new environments academically. It might take you long, and before you realize you're supposed to exit. So that was the first biggest shock, experiencing winter for the first time. And then it rolls. Now summer comes, we have daylight until 10 p.m. And then by 3 a.m., by 4 a.m., there is daylight. So we have short nights and long day. Those were the nice experiences. Apart from the busy classwork, which was very rigorous, I just told myself that this is maybe the only opportunity I have which I will be out of my country. So I utilized that opportunity very well. I was traveling a lot in Europe because I had what is called the Schengen visa. Okay. The Schengen visa will allow you to travel into 25 countries in Europe without any restriction, without being asked questions. You just walk into an aeroplane and you move. And traveling is cheap in Europe as compared to here. Here it's a bit expensive because Europe is a small place. It's not big. The countries are close to each other, they're just names. So I utilized that opportunity where I was able to visit very many countries, very many cities.
You went to Netherlands?
Yes, I went to Amsterdam, I went to Belgium, I exited through Germany. That was my final visit. I was in Zagreb, Croatia. I was Vienna, visited Poland. Yeah.
These are some of the wonderful things that come with the scholarship and going to these places.
Yes.
So then you forgot one thing. I don't know if they do it in Europe. Does the clock change?
Yes, they do change. That's when now the sun darkness by 4 p.m. It's called daylight saving mode. So when they start the daylight saving mode by 4 p.m., the sun is gone.
So the clock changed. Because I remember when I came in, I did not know the clock changes. Then it was on a Saturday night. Then
Monday morning, you have to be late for school.
You become late for school. So then now there is this one thing that helps us when you are abroad. The part where you get to meet new people, get to meet people who have good experiences, who have been to places. Talk about some of the opportunities that you got to network in Europe. Like, how was the networking? You're making new friends, people with skills, and the networking aspect.
Yes, that opportunity presents itself broadly when you're there, because if a country is offering scholarship, it is offering to very many countries. So I had the opportunity to meet a lot of international students, a lot of them for sure. And you could tell we talk about cultures, you see how people live in their countries. You got to live. My first roommates were from Spain. One was from Spain, another one was from Morocco, another one was from, two of them were Spanish, one was from Morocco, and then I was Kenyan. So you have now to live with people who have different backgrounds. People who have traveled, whites, they travel when they are young, so traveling is a norm because when they have free time, they travel. For us at home, we travel, but we don't know we are traveling because those little trips to Mount Longonot, to Elephant Hills, to Mombasa, they count. Only that we are traveling at home. So there's no that big difference in diversity. But here now you get people who are really diverse, how they do things differently. How when someone is using the toilet is different from how you use it. And you have to live with them. So I got the opportunity to meet a lot of friends when I needed some help on how to do this and do that at a particular time. They're good people and they will help you. So you have to adapt with them. And one thing they taught me is that human beings can still be good. Yeah, I mean, you can just walk to someone and ask them questions and they will assist you holistically.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk like if somebody can ask you, what is the one thing that you enjoyed the most in Hungary and Europe?
Traveling. That one for sure. Yes.
Traveling around and moving with these electric trains.
The electric trains, the subways, I mean, planes. I mean, I was flying a lot, so
you could go to very many countries with one visa.
With one visa, so traveling was my mission.
Okay, so
thank you very much for staying in the show up to this point. Please, a quick one. I have one small request for you. Please subscribe to this channel. Surprisingly, 72% of our viewers haven't subscribed yet. By subscribing, you not only support the show, but also ensure that you never miss out on the valuable content. I promise to do everything in my power to ensure that the content we deliver serves as a guiding light in your journey towards future opportunities.
So now then, let's talk about application to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You are going on with your master's, and how did it cross your mind that you should now, how did the USA come to your mind? Like, how did it cross that you should try USA?
So what happens is that when you are, when I was doing my master's, or anybody who is still doing master's there, the condition is that after you finish, you're supposed to go back home to your country. What people do, they look for what is called work visa. There are people who are lucky, they will get work immediately they graduate. If you get employed in those Central European countries or anywhere in Europe, of course you will go settle there. I have a friend, a very close friend, who is working in Debrecen. He got the worker there and is there. So my scenario was that, what happens if I don't get a job, I don't extend my visa, and all those expectations are gone? What will happen? I will go back home. And that is something I was debating about. If I go back home, will I again start afresh of looking for opportunities outside? And I told myself, I want to explore somewhere else. So I have the opportunity, look for work, which is also not guaranteed, or look for PhD. By the time I was getting this American scholarship, I had received 2 admissions, one from the University of Coimbra in Portugal, another one from University of, I don't know where they say, I've forgotten the name, it's some university in Italy, University of Siena. Yes, I had also gotten an admission I had found a professor at the University of Siena in Italy. So I had those 2 options, because I had applied for the, I'm forgetting the name, it's called Euros something. If I get the name right, I'll mention it in this interview. So that was one option. The next option is that I was looking now for, I asked myself, what if I explore different environments? How do I get into the States, Canada, or Australia, now that I've lived in Europe? But I don't want to go to study in Central Asia.
Okay.
That was out of options. So I'm like, okay, Canada, Australia, or the States. Then I just go online using my computer and look top universities in the United States. And you know how the list comes, because I have no idea. I didn't know anybody who was studying in the US, whom I could reach to directly by that time. So they just pop up, and one day when I was still in that struggle, because it's something you don't do in a day, like I have to do this and get it today. Yeah. It's something that rolls your mind when you're free, and then you get to do it. Today I did this, I emailed this professor. So I started sending emails to various professors in the universities. All of them did not, no, most of them did not respond, but one did. And that's why I'm University of Maryland today.
So you wrote down, the list came.
Yes.
You got to go to all these universities and write to different professors.
Yeah, so I visit, like my case now, I'm chemistry. So I just type Department of Chemistry, University of Maryland, and it will bring something related to what you're looking for. And then the hidden secret is that the American system, if you talk to the faculty members, you have a plus advantage because they already know this person knows what he wants to do. He has reached out to this professor, and this professor is comfortable, has given him a go ahead to make the application. So by default, you found a supervisor. So when I went and looked at if you visit most of the university websites or department website, you go to people, it appears as people or faculty. So you look at the professors and the type of research they do. So when I found this professor, I sent him an email and he replied like immediately, which is not always the case.
So
yes.
So how did you learn about writing emails, or you were trying it out?
I just wrote my emails. That I'll be honest with you, I was writing normal emails.
And like, did anyone tell you if you write an email, you may get an opportunity? Because I never knew that until I saw it on a video on YouTube.
No, that one I was like, I read somewhere that most American universities, if you get a supervisor, it's easy. American and Canada, I think, and even Australia. If you talk to a supervisor in advance, they can pick you and recommend you for an admission.
Okay.
So that one I think I read it somewhere.
And you tried it?
And I tried it. I was just writing a normal email. Hello, so and so, I'm Tiberius. This is this, then this. I'm interested. This, blah, blah. This is what I have done.
And you got it?
And he replied. The moment he replied, he was like, okay, thank you, Tiberius, for reaching out. I'm glad you are interested in joining University of Maryland. To proceed with the application, click on this link and continue.
All right. So
and that's now I got motivated now to do the application.
Okay. So you had contacted these professors. Now it's time to put in your application to these universities. How did you go about this United States application?
So the United States applications, for me to be here, they required a lot of documents as well. Of course, I was having them because I knew what I wanted. But it's a plus if you're joining a graduate school in the United States. Application is way easy. If you have good grades, if you have a research background, which is very important. Having a research background, if you've published a paper, a plus. If you've attended in conferences, you've made seminars, plus points. That's what most of us are missing back at home. We don't have papers, we've not attended conferences, we've not done most of what these people have, because the opportunities are there, but we don't exploit them. If someone tells me that there's a conference coming, just write up ABCD and we can go present it. It gives us credit. So when I uploaded all the documents in the website, now you have to apply the application fee. But you know, American universities, they have what is called application fee waiver. If you participate in, 1, 2 online events, the application fee can be waived. So mine was not waived. I had to pay the $75. So then I forgot about it, honestly, because I was so busy. I wanted to finish school within deadline. This is around December. So I just uploaded everything and I'm back to relaxing. Then one day now, I was walking to class at around 8 a.m., rushing to go. I had experiment running overnight. Then I find a good morning email saying, congratulations.
You've gotten this opportunity.
Yes, we are glad to admit you.
Like the application process to the United States, comparing it with the one that you did to Europe, are they different?
Very different. To me, applying to the States was way easier than getting the Stipendium American Scholarship or those scholarships through the Ministry of Education. Remember, I told you I had missed a lot of them. I had missed Commonwealth, I had missed DAD, I had missed East African Scholarship, I had missed Pan-African Scholarship, Chinese, Slovakia. So, but this one I did one shot.
And you got it.
And I got it.
So, do you think applying to many scholarships helps you?
Yes.
How?
The process is the same. the documents is the same. You just now, if you applied for this one and you don't get it, you open the next one, you find everything this almost similar. Difference is always very small. You have the same statement of purpose, you have the same research interest, you have the same referees, you just upload the same thing. So if you fail in one, you try to see why you could have failed so that you adjust in the next one.
Yeah. Okay, so it's good to start, like,
yes,
you can't get these opportunities without starting.
You have to start.
There's somebody who's maybe watching and he has done one and he missed it. What can you tell this person?
Do up to 10.
Then from 10 we start talking.
Now we start talking.
Okay, so you've gotten now the admission to come to the United States.
Yeah.
And like, what was the next step?
Now the next step is now documentation. No, you have to accept the offer. That's what Americans tell you, accept the offer. So, of course, I was like, this is the only option I have. After graduating, I don't even wait. I accepted the offer like immediately. So then you start processing documents in advance. You have to get visa preparations in advance. So it was that process before you land. Before I came here, I had like almost done everything online.
Okay.
Yes. Most of the things, because I was coming under assistantship. So there's that portion of work also involved. So you have to fill up those forms, which is very tedious. But my department is very generous and kind. They allowed us to do them before coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is assistantship? You've talked about it.
Yeah, so for the American universities, assistantship, you're coming as a teaching assistantship. If your supervisor is not having enough funds, the department funds you, or the school funds you. They pay everything and you teach. You assist in teaching one of the courses. Myself, I teach directly. I teach 2 labs. Other people do the assistantship through working as grading assistantship, or you just supervise exams, or we work in the stock rooms if you are a scientist. Stock rooms means where they store chemicals or something, yes. And if you are a research assistant, it means you have to work in the lab throughout.
Okay.
Yes, so there's that difference.
Okay. So now, talk about, because after accepting the offer, you've done all the documentation online. You can't come without the visa.
The visa, yeah.
So now, talk about how you went ahead and did the visa application. How is it like for the United States?
I had that phobia because with the stories I've heard of people getting the USA visa from the American Embassy in Nairobi, how it is tedious and people are always scared. So I had that phobia. But in Europe, it was like getting an ID for me. So I can say it was...
So you got the visa in Europe?
Yeah, I got the visa in Europe. I did the applications, everything in Budapest. It was very easy for sure. Just like getting a normal document.
So you mean like you can be somebody from a different country and you can still go ahead and get the US visa from the embassy of the...
Where you are at that particular moment. Just visit the nearest consulate. That is what they tell you.
Okay.
And you can get the visa wherever you are.
So how you say it's like getting an ID?
It's so easy. Once you do the online application, in my case, I just submitted everything, what is it called? You upload all the documents, whatever they require, and then you book the appointment. What happens in Central Europe, most of them are not English-speaking countries, so they don't travel much to the States. So there are a lot of slots. Every week I could get like 5 to 6 slots free, especially with the type of visa you want in that case. I wanted student visa, so there were a lot of slots. So I had the pleasure to choose when I want to go.
Okay.
Unlike the one in Kenya, you will not get a slot.
Because of backload.
Because of backload. So once I did everything, I was scheduled for the interview. I got in there and the wonderful lady asked me, "Oh, you are going to study?" I remember the exact words. "Oh, you're going to study? Oh, and you have a fully funded scholarship. Congratulations." And I'm like, "Thank you. And what are you going to study?" Because I know those people who work in those counters are human resource persons. They don't know anything about chemistry. I said things, even me, I don't remember what I said. Just internal deep
about
chemistry.
So before you went to this interview, like there is that part where we are told you prepare very well for the interview. Did you prepare?
I didn't know what to prepare because I was going to study. I'm not going as a tourist. I'm not going as a work or anything or to visit. So I was going to study. I was only prepared with the study documents. So,
so you went into the interview, because I remember for me, it's like I rehearsed, I prepared.
No, I didn't do anything.
I used to read, wake up to read, read about the visa, wake up in the morning, watch videos before I sleep. I sleep. I'm on my phone. I sleeping, like looking at the videos. So you did not do much of the preparation.
I did not do much. I mean, I was just relaxed. I'm like, if they're going to give me the visa, they're going to give me the visa. And one thing we don't know, most people don't know, those who are waiting to get the visa, American visa, or any visa, because now I've been to 2 embassies. The decision is made before you go to the interview.
How do you know it's before?
You get in there and they tell you, congratulations. You know? If it is a decision that is made when you are there, somebody will really interrogate you with a lot of questions. But the decision is always made, because I took less than 40 seconds on that counter.
The same thing happened to me, because I remember when I went there, I took a very short time than I expected. So what that helps me, what that means is, if you are going there and you feel like there's some information that you may not be having, and you are being asked so many questions, is like they want to prove if you are going there as a genuine student and you can support yourself there.
That is what they do.
But if your documents are right, everything is submitted well, you're going to get
the visa. And in short, you're just taking your biometrics on that day. Because after submitting biometrics, the person in the counter will tell you congratulations. Yeah.
All right, so you've gotten the visa now. Had you graduated?
Not yet. That was in April, and I was graduating in July. So I had the biggest challenge. I have to pass the final exams.
So you had already gotten a scholarship in the United States?
Yes.
Without finishing your education in Hungary?
Hungary.
That you are so ahead of time.
That was because I was like, after graduating, what will happen next? So I had to plan myself ahead.
Okay.
And I thank God it worked for me.
All right. So you have finished, you've gotten your visa, and you've not finished, like you've not graduated.
Yes.
So you were up, like you had to finish.
I had to finish. Hungary and South, that system where you have to do what is called the state exams. If you fail, you can't graduate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went ahead and you finished your master's. Then after graduating, now you are set.
Yes. Something I didn't mention about the education system is that they have a lot of oral exams. So the state exam, I remember, was oral, where you walk in a room and find a panel of 6 professors, like it's an interview, and then they start asking you random questions about what you studied, and you have to dig into details. You have to have them at your fingertips. So passing that as always, it was the biggest struggle. So I finished it, graduated. Then I had a short transition time because I was to report here on the 1st of August. I graduated on the 9th of July. So I had to move very fast.
Okay, so you finished, now you've come into the United States. You've started school in the United States. How was it different from Kenya and Hungary?
Honestly, when coming to the United States, I was not having much anxiety. I was not just excited. But there was that feeling of new environment. This is the United States. And I was coming to DC, the famous Washington, DC. So I come in, everything went on well. I had made contact with a friend of mine called Victor, who picked me up from the airport, organized everything, and I settled. So, well, and it's good. I can't complain about settling in the United States. I didn't have much culture shock here. Yeah.
Because you had already been, in Europe.
Yeah.
For me, it was my first time coming to the United States, and I got to be shocked with so many things that were going on.
Feeling better. I was feeling better when I came here because of the diversity. There are a lot of blacks. I could get the Kenyan foods, everything around. So I felt more comfortable in the States.
Okay. There is this thing like most people reach out to you, they reach out to me about how they can get these scholarship opportunities. What do you think, like, because I know there are so many people who reach out to you and you try to mentor them. What would you tell these people? Like, what can you tell these people who may want to get these opportunities too?
There are two types of people who reach out. There's one person, I like traveling and I post a lot of photos. There's one person who will see your photo, you've posted your photo, then he will ask you that, I also want to come. He will ask you, how do I come to the United States? Most people ask me that question and my answer is always simple. Not that I'm bragging or anything. If you want to come to the United States, go to JKIA and get a plane. You will come to the United States.
Why do you tell them that?
Someone asking you that, how do I come to the United States, is asking you for a means of transport. But someone asking you, I want to come and study in the United States, that person knows what they are asking. I want to get a job in the United States. That person knows what they are asking. But someone asking you, I want to come to the United States, go to JKIA and get a plane, you will come to the United States.
So you're saying that all these things should be purpose-driven?
Purpose-driven. And it must come from someone.
You'll get these opportunities if you are purpose-driven.
Yes.
Not to just want to come and land. And
yes. And most people, they ask you that, I also want to come to study. They start, what are you doing? I can see you're in the state. What are you doing? I'm studying. I also want to come and study. What do I do? You tell them very well, do this, 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 and this. And then they come and realize that the process is painful and long and requires a lot of patience. They forget. They don't continue and they don't ask you more questions. I remember when I wanted this, I was asking questions in each step. What to do. You remember I was still asking you what to do with this.
Yes.
Yes, how to do this. Because I knew what is to be done, but I didn't want to mess up. You get the difference now. Even if you know, just ask someone who is already there. And then you get it from horse's mouth. I'm glad I've helped many people who are serious, and most of them have secured scholarships.
So you're saying that they have to be purpose-driven.
Yes.
That is very true, because with the kind of education systems in these countries and the way they work is a lot, if you are not purpose-driven and you're not chasing that dream, it will be very hard for you to move forward.
Very true.
So then, where do you recommend people to look for scholarships?
Scholarships, it depends on now where you want to go study. Scholarships have names. There are famous scholarships with the name. So you just visit the website. Fulbright Scholarship, MasterCard Scholarship, there are these UK funded scholarships. Go to those websites. The first information is that website. That's what I do. I go to the website and look at what they require. Then I look for people who have gone through the process.
Okay.
That is the most important thing. You might have the information from online, but you might end up not doing it right. But someone who has gone through the process will tell you that at this particular point, do this, this, and this. Because, that's why we go to school to learn, even if you can read on our own.
Yeah.
Yes. If someone has taught you something, you will remember the verbal communication. Then now you read it again and now it sticks. So I look for people who have gone through the process and they will guide you, and that's what I do. Scholarships are everywhere. Just use your computer.
And your phone.
And
Google and YouTube.
And Google, yes. And by the way, YouTube is helping, like what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember most of the things that I tell people who want to go to these places is, if you want to go to Hungary, if you want to go to Europe, you can make it there very fast if you have connections to people who are there.
That's true.
But you can still make it there, but it will take you ages if you don't get people who are there. All right, so thank you very much for the useful and valuable information that you've shared in this platform today. And what are your final thoughts in all this that we've...
In all this is that we should live the moment. That's what drives me. Wherever you go, I live the moment. I have friends I left in Hungary, especially in my department. They tell me that the professors there talk about me every day. So make the good, utilize every moment. Okay. Those people, these how we relate, how student-lecturer relationship abroad is way much different with student-lecturer relationship back at home. So they are free, they are open, you can talk to them, you see, and they are really helpful. So I utilized that opportunity, and I made good contacts to an extent that when I asked for I asked them to be my referees, all of them accepted, the entire faculty. You see, and they were glad that I made that progress before I graduated. It's not always the case.
Yeah.
It's very rare to get admission before you finish. So I was admitted in the States when I was still studying in Europe. So my professors were so happy. They talk about it very well. And now when I came here because I joined a research lab also. I find a very good professor who is really helpful, and people in my research lab also are very helpful. So those are the connections. That is the biggest weapon I think I'm having now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing all this. Viewer, thank you very much. And if you find this information useful and you want to get more of this, please subscribe to this channel, and see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you.